The two ordinary hosts of this podcast are not professionals on parapsychology, extraterrestrials, cryptozoology, nor would they describe themselves as religious or prone to superstition. They'd also like to make it known that this show is not intended for children or those with sensitive sensibilities. Please listen at your own discretion. And remember, the truth is often anecdotal.
Wikipedia describes paranormal events as purported phenomena described in popular culture, folk, and other non-scientific bodies of knowledge whose existence within these contexts is described as being beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding. And since the advent of the internet, we have been bombarded with personal accounts of the unexplained. Now, whether you consider yourself a believer or a skeptic, stories in these categories often intrigue, perplex, and even scare us. We aim to bring you these accounts from the perspective of just a pair of normal dudes, the kind that use Wikipedia as a resource. Ba, 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 booey. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Hello, listeners. I am Mr. R.
And I'm Mr. X.
Just a pair of normal dudes
Reading paranormal stories.
That's right. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm excited for this.
Yes. Has anything exciting happened this week for you?
This week? No.
No. Okay. Any other week?
Well, I started working nights a few weeks ago, so my body is still catching up to all that. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think I took a 3-hour nap before this, and I was surprised.
Dang.
Yeah, I was surprised my alarm even woke me up. So
That's crazy. Have you noticed any changes, any biological adaptations?
like mutations.
Yeah, like better night vision, echolocation.
Well, I work under heavy fluorescent lights, so probably worse
Right.
vision.
Right. That's yeah. Never mind. Okay. Hello, yes, everybody. To the Paranormal Dudes podcast. We are going to be covering some stories. We got some stuff that we're going to tell each other about, and even some pre-recorded stuff that I think is going to be kind of excited to listen to. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So, I would say I'm not a huge believer. I won't say I'm a total skeptic. You know, I grew up on the History Channel. I watched some kooky stuff on there. Like, do ghosts exist? Probably not. Do I still worry that my grandparents are judging me from beyond the grave? Of course. But this story is more of the kind of paranormal stuff that I'm into. This is the stuff that kind of intrigues me because there's not really any answers you can like immediately put to the test here. So this one I found on Reddit. It had an original source from ufostalker.com, but I can't access the link.
Oh,
I'm not going to give you the title because it'll kind of give away the little
sure.
twist in there. So it reads like a police report, so it should be pretty easy to get through. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I am a police officer in Ushuaia in the far south of Argentina. Early one morning, we were dispatched to a landowner's farmhouse as a lost Englishman was knocking on their door in the early morning hours. This occurred on Highway 3, in a very isolated part of the country. So we arrive on the scene, and the man told a truly incredible story. He recalled that earlier in the evening, which was now 7 hours prior to our arrival on the scene, he was traveling in his car in the British city where he lives, Stoke-on-Trent. He was only making the very short journey to visit his mother in Wales. He remembered stopping the car. The next minute, he's in the mountains and freezing cold. He's not dressed for mountaineering, as he's wearing just light clothing. He saw a light above, then a light in the distance, which belonged to the farmhouse where we found him. He walked to the farmhouse and knocked on the porch door. The mother of the family from the farmhouse told us that he thinks he's upon some unknown hill in Stoke-on-Trent, but no. He's very far away in the southeasternmost corner of Argentina. He has no passport, no ID. We checked the airlines. He's not on any airline's passenger manifest. No entry into Argentina. We arrest him for illegal entry into the country, and a huge investigation followed. He had a receipt for a gas station in England from some 11 hours prior to our finding him, and many people had seen him only several hours before that time. Also, there was video photo evidence of him at the gas station in England with a timestamp just a few hours prior to his unexplained arrival in Argentina. There's no way it was possible for him to fly from England in that short period of time. It takes at least 20 hours plus to get here from his city. Then 1 month we had to be quiet and not speak of the matter to a soul. Afterwards, we debriefed. Officially, the entire matter is all now classified and secret information. We are instructed that word of this matter must not leak out for reasons of national security. The man told us that this had happened to him once before when he was 18 and in the USA for summer camp in California. 1 minute he was at summer camp, the next he was at Punta Arenas, not too far from here, but in Chile across the border. So what is happening here? I'm afraid to speak out about this. If found out, I can get into a lot of very serious trouble, so please keep this confidential. Now, this was posted 6 years ago, and there's a total of 0 comments. So
What?
I couldn't find any theories on this. I can't access the original link. There's literally no discussion on it.
That's crazy. I mean, something out there really wants this guy in South America. Man, that's so weird. So, because I'm not great with geography, and maybe our listeners aren't either, it is about 7,209 miles to get from Wales to
Ushuaia,
Argentina. Yeah.
Did you
Wait,
figure
what was the name of it? Say it again?
Ushuaia. Did you figure out how to spell it just from that pronunciation?
Absolutely not.
It is Ushuaia. I had to look up how to pronounce it.
Ushuaia. And in the second place, when he was 18, he was sent to Chile?
Yeah, Punta Arenas.
Okay, so let's go through our Rolodex here. We're thinking aliens.
Well, okay, so the biggest mystery to me was, why was he not carrying ID? Like, not having your passport, sure, I can understand not taking that everywhere with you, but he had no form of ID. Like, he's just driving around without a license or something up there. I don't know how it works in England, but...
Huh. So, the guys, in the beginning of the story, he was traveling somewhere?
Yeah, he was going to see his mom in Wales, which is a different country, I believe, so wouldn't you need a passport even in the EU?
I'm not sure. If you're not crossing any like hard borders like rivers or anything, I actually do not know. At the top of the show, it should have been mentioned that we're not experts on anything. Let's see. And from California to Chile. I mean, these are obviously extreme jumps, but like it's also interesting that police force, or I guess whatever ruling entity, has tried to hide this. And how did he get back?
Well, he's probably deported.
Oh, deportation actually makes way more sense.
Yeah. They just kept him there indefinitely.
Yeah, they're like, well, you can't leave.
So this happened to him once before. You think he would have learned his lesson and kept his passport on him at all times since he was in that summer camp. But no, this is the thing I'm talking about, right? There's like, what kind of answer could you give? It did say at one point he saw a bright light above him, and I'm not sure if that meant that, because he's in the mountains, I'm not sure if that meant he looks up and sees a light in the distance, or if it's like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and there's just a beam of light coming over him.
He's just not really aware of the sun.
Yeah.
I saw a bright light above me. It was huge. I'm actually kind of stuck right now. I have no idea, because like, imagine being, a European. You visit California for a fun little trip, some kind of camp, and then you're teleported thousands of miles away. Like, your first thought has to be like, I'm never going back to California.
I want to know how that experience played out. Like, because in this one, he's in his car, right? He stops, he steps out. I can't imagine that this super southern Argentinian town looks very similar to the countryside leading to Wales. Like, in California, did he like step into an outhouse, step out in Chile? Could you imagine?
Yeah, I would like to know more about the California story. Like, we don't know this person's name. We can't reach out or anything. But
and this is like a third-hand account by a supposed police officer, which you also have to take with like a grain of salt, right?
Sure.
because it reads like a police report, and it's actually fairly well written. That's the whole reason why I picked this one, because some of these stories that we run into are hard to read, and I didn't want to have to rewrite some stuff. So
Yeah.
I would take it with a grain of salt. It's an interesting story, and it's not necessarily unique. You've heard of a few stories like this where people are wandering and they end up in a completely different part of the world, but never to like this extreme.
Yeah, this is wild.
Or sometimes you'll hear like people traveling back in time for a minute and then, reappearing where they were. This guy he had to take a long flight back from Argentina's immigration
And like
services.
not a cheap flight, and apparently he just doesn't bring his wallet anywhere unless the aliens mugged him and took his wallet and his ID in it.
You know what? No, that kind of leaves an interesting question. He drove there, right? So did his car get left in Argentina? Was he sent back without his car, or did they like ship it back to him?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. So wait, did his car end up in Argentina as well?
It must have, because he stepped out of his car and then noticed that he was somewhere different.
Oh. So now his Kia Sorento is stuck somewhere in the hills of Argentina. You can't ship that. That's not cheap.
But yeah, that's the story of the guy who set out to visit his mother in England and then ended up in Argentina a few hours later. So
it is still pretty, like, I would just move there, right?
Yeah, just stay there.
Like, you just moved somewhere in South America and just, I need to get to the grocery store, and just hope you're dropped off,
Right.
That story has me reminded of one that I posted. I think it was like last week at some point. This story was posted on r/spooky stories by user Chanel number 6153. And the title is I Have Been Blipping.
Oh, okay.
This one's kind of short. So, I have no idea how to use Reddit, but I'll try. I'm 15 years old, European, and atheist. But for the past year, I've been noticing that my vision looks the same as me blinking, but then there's a feeling of having just woken up, or something like coming back from a long trip. Also, in some rare cases, the lights flash off for 1 second. 1 second max. Also, in rooms, I have new light bulbs and a normal flow of electricity. Because I have no idea what the fuck is happening, all I can do is make theories. Also, I've been watching Nick Crowley. One is that something is moving me, or quote, us. Another is that my conscience has been shifting. I think they meant conscience. Has been shifting. Almost like the multiverse theory. This shit feels weird as fuck. So I wanted to ask if this also happens to other sane people. Does it? And if it does, please comment. I'd like to know what happened to y'all, or if I have some mental problems.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I guess at the bottom of the post they wrote, check out Nick Crowley's channel if you like paranormal stuff. Okay, I see.
Oh, so this is just promotion.
It's an advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I saw this, literally the first thing that came to mind was like, this guy has like a concussion. Like, he's been walking around with some seriously concussed.
You absolutely need to go to see a doctor.
Yeah. Don't post on Reddit. Just go get it checked out. Like, if that was happening
That's something
to
about
me,
Reddit I find really funny is you'll see posts like of like, supernatural or paranormal stories, and it's a lot of the cases the stories are like, this just happened to me, right? Like, I haven't even said anything to my parents about this,
right.
or this is the first place I went. That's crazy to me. If anything, like what I read online happened to me, the last thing I would think of is to go to Reddit.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the stories I read, it's like, this happened a few days prior and it's been haunting me. So I posted it on Reddit. Haven't told my family or seen a psychiatrist or anything. I'm just I'm reaching out to you guys first to make sure that I'm not crazy.
I would like to know the percentage of Reddit posters who just find out that they have some kind of disorder.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey guys, turns out it wasn't aliens. There was something he said earlier. He says, also in some rare cases, the lights flash off for 1 second. Like, that's blinking.
It's just like a neurological, not disease, but like there's something going on with his head, whether it's physical or not, but like blacking out for a few seconds is definitely not healthy. I don't think it's paranormal at all. You should definitely get that checked out by a doctor.
And definitely, like, don't drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
stay out of heavy machinery at all costs.
I wonder what that guy does for a job. YouTube probably. It was probably the Nick Crowley guy. Just trying to...
Oh, yeah, it was Nick Crowley again.
I have no idea who that is.
We don't know who Nick Crowley is.
We're not promoting him either, so
no.
if you're going to look him up at your own discretion. I have no idea what's on his channel.
What do you got next for us?
This one I found also on Reddit, and it's from a very old article. Let's see, the Maryland Standard, I believe, in 1883. I have this pre-recorded, so I'm just going to go ahead and play a clip for you, Roger, and we'll discuss.
Okay.
From the Maryland Standard, November 1st, 1883. A queer old bugaboo, what a little miss saw as she skipped along to the spring. A remarkable incident happened to the little daughter of Captain William L. Pratt of King George County last Monday evening. At 3 o'clock, she started to the spring about 200 yards from the house for a bucket of water. When about halfway in passing a peach tree near the path, an indescribable sensation came over her. Her hair felt as though it was standing on end, and a heavy pressure on the shoulders almost crashed her to the earth. With difficulty, she walked to the spring, got her water, and started back. Arriving to the same tree, something came out of the weeds in front of her, crossed the path, and disappeared. The object appeared to be moving just above the ground, but not touching it. It was covered with something like an old coat, with the sleeves hanging down on each side. Its head was covered with short, kinky hair, and it seemed to have no face, eyes, or feet. Its disappearing in an open space seems to be the mystery, and a further fact that the weakness and pressure left the little girl as soon as it disappeared. The little girl was much alarmed at the time and says while the object was passing, she could not have moved out of her tracks or spoken if life depended upon it. The mother reports that she was as pale as a corpse when she reached the house. Her father, Captain Pratt, was in town, and she feared it was a token of some accident that had or would happen to him. She watched steadily for him until he got in sight of the house on his return, when she clapped her hands for joy and shouted, "Papa is coming." Captain Pratt says he is not a believer in ghost or supernatural things, but this is a mystery which he cannot explain and which is giving him much concern. The little girl was about 11 years old. All right.
Captain Pratt was, he was just a normal dude. He was one of us.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know if I believe in this, but if it's true, then I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something, my 11-year-old daughter. Where was this posted, you said?
Maryland Standard.
Maryland.
Didn't say specifically, it did say King George County.
I kind of wish all stories were written like that.
Yeah. So I debated letting you read that one just so you could do like an old timey reporter voice or whatever. But it's sure. That's just how it reads. So it just comes naturally. But yeah, I also picked this one because it was very well written and it made it easy to read. I do have a theory on this one.
Okay.
What day was this released?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, do you remember what I said?
Oh, no.
November 1st, which is
November 1st.
The day after Halloween. So this could have just been
like a prank.
Yeah, like a little hoax, a little fun story they posted as people were kind of winding down from, the spooky festivities and stuff. Although, were they celebrating Halloween the same way back in 1883? Who knows? I did have to look up when the U.S. started celebrating Halloween, and it was around the 19th century, so it could be. By the way, bugaboo, I was kind of worried it might have been like an old-timey slur, but apparently it's like an adjustment from boogeyman.
Right, like a fright.
The actual definition is an object of fear or alarm, a bugbear. It's from the early 18th century. It's an alteration of boogeyman, alliterating extension perhaps influenced by boo or bow. There's also a stroller company named after it. So I feel safe that I'm not like offending anybody there.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it could just be like a little after Halloween kind of joke. They did say it was from a week before, so who knows? In the comments, there was a lot of people saying that the same thing happened to them. Some were a little creepier. This one guy said it happened to him in his bedroom. Like he's just laying in bed and this thing just appeared from his window, went to his door, and then just disappeared. Which, if that would have happened to me, I probably would have had a heart attack.
Right.
But no actual explanation as to what it could be.
So we haven't summoned a name for this thing, right? This faceless, footless, floating mass of moss or whatever.
Somebody did say it could be, they said, sounds like the jellyfish UFO. I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to Google it real quick.
I'm not very familiar with those words in that order.
Let's
jellyfish. See. Am I going to have to hold on?
Oh.
Jellyfish UFO.
It's a black and white photo.
Oh yeah, this thing is old. And it kind of looks like, it does kind of look like a jellyfish.
Yeah, and it does kind of look like what they described. Like a furry thing with long arms.
Tentacles or, tendrils of some kind.
Although this thing looks like it's way above the ground, so.
One of my favorite bits in that reading was how they said how it disappeared is the true mystery.
Yeah.
No, I think the whole thing's pretty mysterious. Something floating off the ground, mystery number 1. Doesn't have a face, mystery number 2. Eyes were included, part of the face, not that big of a mystery. No feet, also, whatever. But the pressure on the little girl, that they seem to kind of gloss over that she was like being pushed down by like extra gravity or something.
Well, to me, it sounded like when you just get like when you just get like a creepy feeling, how when your hairs stand up and stuff, and it feels like someone is pushing. Like, just think of something creepy right now and give yourself goosebumps. It feels like something's pushing down on your shoulders. It could have just been the sensation that something was watching her.
Brave of her that she finished her task. She actually went and got the water.
Well, it was the 1800s, so I don't think she had a choice.
That's true.
This one didn't creep me out so much. It was just, I thought it was funny the way it was written. But, imagine just seeing something like pop out of nowhere, pass you, and then just disappear. I wouldn't have an explanation as to what it could be. Here, let me read you one of the comments here.
Okay.
WTF. I did not know this has actually happened to anyone else. I'm excitement, validation, serotonin. When I was about 13 in my GMAS shotgun house kitchen. Wow, I should have vetted this comment before I started reading it. Let's see. Oh, okay. When I was 13 in my grandma's shotgun house kitchen by myself in the late afternoon, I felt this pressure while eating cereal on the table. They're eating cereal in the afternoon. I always assumed ghosts because of it. I thought it was just a torso because of the sleeves, like a jacket floating. It went through the sink counter into the large side yard, and I paused briefly, a bit in awe, then went to the window above the sink, saw nothing, but felt the pressure get weaker, then threw open the back door, took a few steps down, and to the side of the house where it went through, saw nothing, but the pressure returned slightly, then everything just got lighter. I swear it felt like it was dead silent outside. Then when this pressure relieved, bird noises faded back in, and all the background noises. I always chalked up to indirect visuals, to imagination, or somehow just wrote it off. It's the specific feeling I can never forget. So I guess people get this. I don't know. The other guy, it literally popped up in his bedroom, so
I want to see it. I don't want to see, I don't want to experience this thing, but I want to see what it looks like.
So it sounded to me like something you'd see in an anime, like just a round ball with a fur coat, maybe a top hat. It said it had no face, and I can imagine it with like no eyes or nose, but like with a creepy Cheshire cat smile or something.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. and it would look unsettling, but it would also be the most badass fighter in the group, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that was the fun story from the 1800s about a queer old bugaboo. So
I think the scariest part of all of that to me is the 1800s, because you wouldn't have, like, what's the word? You wouldn't have anything to latch onto whenever you see something that crazy. You know, like now, whenever we read stuff like Lovecraft, we know what an octopus looks like.
right.
But back when Lovecraft wrote those things, some people had never seen or even heard of an octopus. So it was like, oh, tendrils, you know?
People never seen or heard of an elephant now in half the world.
Right.
Although, you know what, this could probably also just be chalked up to, like, it's the 1800s. Maybe she hit her head. Like,
She could have hit her head, and whatever was walking by, it was a goose. Like, you've seen the illustrations of people in the 1500s, they draw a lion, but the lion is like
very
an abomination.
strange looking.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a lion.
It was three geese in a coat. Three
There
geese
you
found
go.
a coat
3
and just
geese
flew by.
Found a coat, through some kind of mishaps, put it on. And it wasn't floating, it was flying. Not well, but it was flying. And they disappeared because geese have the ability to do that. So,
Well, okay, so that's the thing, right? It says in the story that her mom says she was pale as a corpse. So something had to have happened to this little girl. She saw something.
oh, I believe that she got scared. I
Yeah.
believe that she was.
Oh,
She
I
saw
mean, like-
something.
Like physically something might have happened to her, or she may have like taken a drink at the spring and like immediately got sick or something and just visualized something weird. A lot of this stuff can probably be explained with like neurological mishaps. But yeah, let's move on to your next story, Roger.
So my next story I also recorded, and I'm gonna go ahead and ask for forgiveness because I could not get a clean take on this. So when you listen to it, you'll hear when I break. But yeah, I think everyone's gonna enjoy this. I kind of hope we hear more about it later on. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. It should be prefaced. The name of this Reddit post, I think it was just called "Let Me Tell You About My Friend Frank" or something like that. I actually lost it. I don't know where it is now. It might still be somewhere in the Discord. But this was me reading through it. Frank looks like an all-black ghillie suit. An all-black Muppet creature that is hunched over with no real discernible features. Think shadow person, but Muppet-like. This house was built in 1986 and is not haunted. And Frank is not a ghost. Don't ask me why I believe that, because I don't know why. It's just something I know. Frank also comes and goes as he pleases, and, I swear on my honor, appears to move objects and animals. The most infamous Frank story is when he relocated the dog. The most infamous Frank story is when he... The most infamous Frank story is when he relocated the dog. To this day, I am haunted by how the dog was relocated. Okay. To this day, I am haunted by how the dog was relocated, and blame Frank despite all rational pieces of me saying, that's impossible. Ghost investigators and psychics have been to the house, and all unanimously agree Frank isn't a ghost because he was never living. They also agree he is, quote, old, ancient, part of the land, and was excited when I moved in. According to these folks, Frank realizes I can see him, likes my energy, and enjoys playing pranks on me. Like relocating the dog. I am partial to Frank now, after several years, but admit he creeps me and the cat out sometimes. If anyone is interested, I'd be happy to share my experiences and share the story of my ghillie puppet, Frank.
What?
Okay.
Tell us the story about the dog.
Yeah, okay. So there is comments that discuss the story about the dog. It is quite long, and I wasn't sure if we wanted to get into it. But how dare you? How dare you tell us a story about Frank and you just mention the the relocation of a dog, the transference of a dog. And then, what was it, at the end, he was like, yeah, I've grown accustomed to Frank, but he does creep me and the cat out. The cat doesn't want to be relocated!
He waits to mention a cat until the very end. Has the cat been messed with? Or is the cat just too, like, aware that it's not going to let itself be picked up like the dog?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cats are too business. That dog was weak.
Oh, man. How big was the dog? Oh, I have so many questions. and
Too many
they're,
questions.
they're all
It keeps
about the
coming.
dog, so...
Okay, there's a comment that says, Frank relocates your dog. Can you give an example on that? Is your dog scared of Frank? I would love to read some of your dealings with Frank. And this post goes on for quite a while. However, I will read you one of the paragraphs. When the investigators came months later, I tell them the story. They gave me these metal copper rod thingies and told me to hold them apart. They told Frank to push the rods far apart, and he let the dog on the deck. And I swear on my life, those rods moved open with intention. They moved apart, and I'm just yelling, I told you I didn't make it up! I didn't put the dog on the deck! So I guess he had some professionals come in and test Frank, in a way?
Wow. You don't usually hear about entities engaging with paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
So this this poster's username is Muscle Muppet,
Muscle Muppet, yes.
which kind of leads me to think that this might be made up, since they clearly have like some kind of infatuation with Muppets.
Right, there's definitely a bias toward puppets, which I get. I, of all people, I get that. It is a shame that his name does kind of betray the validity of the story. But I, for one, am a Frank stan. I would like a show about Frank and his dog relocating powers.
I just clicked on a random comment, and they said, without any context, none. He still has my watch straps. We've considered offering him food, but I don't know, that sounds like a trap to me. I have no idea what that's in response to, but this Frank is, it sounds mischievous. I guess they did say that he likes to play pranks on them. I have no idea if this is a woman or a man or otherwise that posted this.
Muscle Muppet?
Yeah.
Amazing.
What would you do if you had a Frank?
So, you know this.
Oh yeah.
I kind of do have a Frank. Years ago, I was a very, very young child. My mom visited. The visit was before I was born. A local house nearby, to where my mother was living at the time. A house burnt down, and it was an abandoned house that was locked up. So people, like, they didn't really stop the fire. It just it just took the house down. And when the flames were put out and the ashes were cooled, the neighborhood kind of gathered together and just, investigated. They sifted through the ashes, and my mom found a picture frame that she really liked. She really liked this decorative frame. And when she picked it up, the ashes slid off the front, and behind the glass was an undamaged portrait of a little girl. And my mom was like, creepy. I'm going to take that out. and she undid the back and found several newspaper clippings about a little girl named Emma who died in a fire. And my mom was like, that's bad juju, and I'm gonna put things back where they were. So she essentially nailed the back of this picture frame to where it was, and it's wired shut, and has kept Emma all these years. And Emma was kind of a catch-all for us. Like, anytime anything interesting or out of the ordinary happened, we would blame Emma. Whether that be voices heard throughout the house that were replicants of our own, or, stomps, or cabinets closing, or doors opening, or what have you. Most recently, Jenna can attest to this, we both experienced what we call Emma turning on a water faucet in the apartment that we lived in. It was late at night. I believe we were watching YouTube or a movie or something, and the water just started, and Jenna was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "I don't know, it's probably the toilet doing that thing that toilets do when they, they're kind of leaky and they just keep refilling themselves." Yeah. She's like, "No, go check on it." And I go into the bathroom, and one of the faucet knobs, like it was a handle, had been turned halfway on, and neither of us had been in the bathroom at any point near then. And I was like, "Oh no, sorry, this is Emma. Emma used to do this a lot. She would turn on faucets, especially if you were in the shower and you get out of the shower and the sink would just be running full blast. That wasn't uncommon for me, but it's very rare that she does it in front of anyone else."
Yeah, didn't she used to do it to I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but we lived together for a while with Emma, and there were a few instances of odd stuff. Nothing that I can recall, because I guess it didn't affect me very much. But didn't that used to happen to Rage all the time when they would stay over?
Yes. Yeah. Rage can also attest to many things happening. Again, these are things that just happened, right? And we call those things Emma. I have no proof that some entity is doing them. But the things that did happen were unexplainable at the time. So it's just there for me. I like to believe. I like to think that there's, a playful little, I don't want to say spirit of a little girl, but like a being that, plays little pranks and stuff.
Yeah, I never really got any bad vibes, I guess, from Emma. It was a little weird being in the apartment alone. And you have just this Victorian-looking little girl staring at you.
Yeah, I do hear the odd complaint of, she is kind of creepy looking.
Yeah, and it's it's one of those, because I can't tell if it's a photograph or a painting, but it's one of those things where its eyes will follow you around the room. No matter where you're standing, it's always looking at you. So it's a little unsettling, but yeah. I mean, you get used to it.
So the last thing, this is I don't know if we're gonna keep this little segment, but there's a piece of media that I have shared in the Discord, and I would really like to hear you react to it live. Just so everyone else is aware, this is from Paranormal Evidence, r/Paranormal Evidence, from a user named OK_tone2143. The title is Ghost? What is this? Help! And then, can someone explain what this could be? Now, we have what looks to be kind of a security cam footage of a bedroom. Someone asleep in a bed. There is a closet, maybe a hallway door or a bathroom. There's a cat tree, some paintings on the wall, or some pictures, I should say. Go ahead and press play and tell me what you see.
Okay. All right, it's playing. I thought that was a cat for a second. This camera looks like it's pretty high, and it literally looked like a cat jumped from one side of the bed all the way to this camera. But it probably wasn't a cat, because then it also comes up on the other side of the frame.
There's something inherently funny about this video.
Yeah, because whatever's is just jumping around.
Can you kind of give the audience an example, what you're seeing?
Yeah, it's just just imagine a white cat. I mean, the footage is black and white, so imagine a white. I'm gonna go with cat because it's kind of cat shaped, like a long cat. You grab it, you stretch it out, and it looks like someone just threw it towards the camera, and then it jumped in fear out from the other side of the frame. Yeah, I don't know. No.
So
Okay, so the sheet moved, right?
yes.
That is definitely the cat. and it looks like a cat jumping towards the camera, and then what comes up on the left side of the frame after that kind of looks like its tail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's so like fast that it looks like it might be something else.
So I watched this at work today, and I audibly laughed very loud, and my coworker's like, "What's so funny?" And I was like, "I don't know how to explain this without showing you." To me, yes, the blanket moves at the bottom of the bed, and I can't be sure what's causing that, but it it literally looks like a stick bug has been launched toward the camera and lands just below frame, and then someone, as if puppeteering it, slides
Levitates
it up the left side. Yeah. It, like, I don't think it's a ghost by any means, because if it is a ghost, it's of like a stick bug or a praying mantis or something.
I firmly believe it's the cat, because there's a cat tree there too.
There is a cat, or there is a cat tree.
Yeah, so the top comment kind of insinuates that it might be like some kind of tiny bug or something, but I don't think something that small would move the sheets the way that they move. It looks like the cat was trying to get onto the bed from under the sheets, got spooked, and then jumped significantly high. I don't know how far away the camera is. It's a wide angle, or like a wide lens camera, so it's probably not that far from the bed. I'm gonna say it was the cat.
So if you look at the reflection of the lights in the painting above the bed, they kind of do a weird little dance. That may be a focusing thing. I'm not sure. I hear some very small comments: hair, dust, or bug. Then there's another one that says, kind of funny, which I agree with wholeheartedly. There is something organically funny about this little video. Next comment is, that's a bug. And then there's a comment that I used to be kind of guilty of. Oh. You would just post reverse video fake.
Yeah, I would post on TikTok, just on any random video. I would just be like, clearly in reverse. Every once in a while, I'll get a response to comments I made like years ago, and it'll be people like literally arguing why it's not in reverse. And I'm like, dude.
It should be mentioned that the videos you'd comment on would blatantly not be in reverse.
Or occasionally you'd get the ones that were clearly like someone like made a reverse video to make it look cool, and I would just be like, wow, I can't believe this actually happened. What are those lights in the frame? That is,
I assume, I mean, it's got to be reflecting something on this side of the room, right? The right side.
Yeah. And like, you know, these cameras are like night vision, so they'll illuminate anyways, but the room does look pretty bright.
Well lit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there must be like a lamp or something there. And if whatever this was large enough to kind of shield the light for a second, yeah, that just affirms for me that it was her cat. I wish somebody would have. When was this posted? 2 days ago? I'm a comment and be like, "Is your cat white?"
I'm a comment. Comment reverse fake.
But yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it's the cat. And listeners, we will post links to all these stories and stuff, so you can watch this and decide for yourself.
I'm gonna try to make this a more regular thing. There's no guarantee that it's gonna be anywhere near as funny as this one is for me. But there are a lot of paranormal or supernatural, like, quote, like, evidence pages that I will scroll through and just kind of giggle at. And that's I'm obvious, like with Emma, I'm an obvious, like, I want to believe so bad in so many things. But the evidence that people post is laughable at times.
This podcast is going to kind of depend on the stories that we find online and stuff. And man, grammar these days makes it really
Awful.
hard to... There was one that I really wanted to do that I sent to you, Roger. And I really wanted to do it because I had like a similar-ish experience. And it was one of the women driving at night. And then she sees what she thinks might have been like an alien, but she wasn't sure she was dreaming it. Holy crap, I could not get through the first 2 paragraphs of that because there was so much information that didn't necessarily matter, and it was just kind of jumbled together. I might try to clean that one up and talk about it and stuff, but woof, some of this stuff is it's hard to get through. And a lot of these stories are much shorter than I was expecting. I was like expecting people who experience this kind of stuff to kind of go on rants and stuff, but it's usually just like a paragraph of like, man, this crazy thing happened to me, and that's about it.
Right. And to their credit, most of the stories you find online, they're from people who aren't authors, and that's
Right.
made very clear. Or English isn't their first language, so they may not have the hang of that. So if we do post stories that we have editorialized to make easier for understanding, we'll say that, right?
Right.
We don't want to, credit someone and just make up a story ourselves.
The U.S. is only one part of the world, and most of the world speaks different languages. So,
Absolutely. And I guess with that said, if anyone listening has a story or multiple stories or knows of a source for stories, you can reach out to us. If you want to send us an email, we have an email. I doubt that's going to be the case really, but we have a Reddit user. So u/PONDPOD. I'm going to try to stick with that theme across social medias if I can, but Pond Pod is not about man-made water features. So, all right, I do think that is it for this episode. If any of you listening have supernatural stories of your own, you can submit them to us for this show at any of our socials at PairODudes. That is PAIR_O_DUDES.
yeah, and we've been a pair of normal dudes, ever in need of stories to intrigue, perplex, maybe even frighten. So remember, if you can't explain it, post about it. And until next time, stay tuned and stay haunted.